1947, Majestic 12, MJ-12. Disinformation and secrets in the UFO era. The year 1947, marked by the Roswell incident and the emergence of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, in the public imagination, also witnessed the creation of a mysterious group called the Majestic 12, MJ-12. This chapter explores the origins, alleged aims, and controversial role of the MJ-12 in disseminating information about UFOs. The context of 1947, the explosion of interest in UFOs. The post-war period was one of scientific and technological effervescence, but also of speculation and mystery. The Roswell incident in July 1947 catalyzed public interest in UFOs, raising questions about the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. The birth of MJ-12, a secret group revealed? According to some conspiracy theories, MJ-12 was created in September 1947 by U.S. President Harry S. Truman. This secret group was tasked with dealing with the aftermath of the Roswell incident and hiding information about UFOs from the public eye. The alleged members of MJ-12, an elite of the elite. According to documents that later emerged, MJ-12 was made up of eminent scientists, high-ranking military officers, and influential government figures. Alleged members included such figures as physicist Vannevar Bush, Secretary of Defense James Forrestal, and scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer. The objective of MJ-12, disinformation and manipulating opinion. According to conspiracy theories, the MJ-12's main mission was to manage information on UFOs. Rather than revealing the truth to the public, MJ-12 would have sought to misinform and manipulate opinion by creating a controlled narrative about the nature of observed phenomena. The MJ-12 documents, between authenticity and controversy. Documents allegedly linked to MJ-12 emerged in the 1980s, fueling speculation about its existence. However, the authenticity of these documents has been disputed, with some considering them sophisticated forgeries created to confuse the field of ufology. Controversies and doubts. The validity of MJ-12. The question mark. The validity of MJ-12 has been hotly contested by skeptics and document analysis experts alike. Inconsistencies, factual errors, and the absence of hard evidence have led many to regard the MJ-12 as a construct of the conspiracist imagination rather than a historical reality. The MJ-12 legacy, between myth and reality. The legacy of MJ-12 persists in the ufological imagination and in discussions of government conspiracies. Whether MJ-12 was really created to manage extraterrestrial secrets or is the product of conspiratorial speculation, its history raises questions about government transparency and the way information is managed in democratic societies. Conclusion: the gray zones of truth. This chapter concludes by highlighting the gray areas surrounding MJ-12, between claims of information manipulation and persistent doubts about its existence. MJ-12 remains an unsolved mystery of contemporary history. It invites reflection on how governments manage and communicate sensitive information, while reminding us that truth can often be more complex than fiction. 1949, the Soviet explosion and Truman's rearmament. 1949 marked a major geopolitical turning point when the Soviet Union successfully announced its first nuclear test. This breakthrough had an immediate impact on international politics, prompting U.S. President Harry S. Truman to take decisive action by launching a policy of rearmament. This chapter explores the events that followed the Soviet nuclear announcement and its impact on American strategy. The historic announcement of the Soviet nuclear test, 1949. In August 1949, the Soviet Union successfully carried out its first nuclear test, becoming the world's second nuclear power after the USA. This technological breakthrough shocked the world and radically altered the balance of power between the post-war superpowers. International reactions, concern, and strategic readjustments. The announcement of the Soviet nuclear test provoked strong reactions around the world. America's allies expressed concern about the emergence of a new nuclear threat. Against this backdrop of heightened tension, the need for a strategic reassessment became imperative. Truman confronts the new nuclear reality. Rearmament policy. Faced with the reality of a nuclear-armed Soviet Union, President Truman made a crucial decision. In response to this perceived threat, he launched a rearmament policy aimed at strengthening the United States' military capabilities. Objectives of the rearmament policy: deterrence and preparation. Truman's rearmament policy had several aims. Firstly, it sought to deter the Soviet Union from using its nuclear arsenal by demonstrating America's determination to defend its interests. Secondly, it aimed to prepare America's armed forces to face new strategic realities. The arms race, expanding nuclear and conventional programs. Rearmament policy has led to an intensification of nuclear and conventional programs in the USA. New investments were made in the development of nuclear weapons, delivery systems, and air defenses. At the same time, efforts were made to modernize and expand conventional forces. International reactions. The Cold War intensifies. Truman's rearmament policy helped intensify the Cold War. Relations between the United States and the Soviet Union deteriorated further, ushering in an era of ideological confrontation, arms race, and strategic rivalry. Long-term consequences. The legacy of rearmament policy. The impact of Truman's rearmament policy was felt for decades. The nuclear arms race defined much of the Cold War, underscoring the risks and stakes involved in possessing nuclear weapons and the need for careful diplomacy to avoid destructive escalation. Conclusion: a decisive turning point in the Cold War. This chapter concludes by highlighting the crucial importance of the announcement of the Soviet nuclear test in 1949 and the subsequent rearmament policy. These events marked a decisive turning point in the Cold War, redefining geopolitical dynamics and laying the foundations for an era of strategic nuclear confrontation between the superpowers. 1952, the 1952 event. Recovery of a survivor with a translation device. The year 1952 witnessed an enigmatic event that provoked speculation and questioning. Reports indicated that a survivor had been recovered, but surprisingly, he had not been sent. Moreover, there are indications that this individual may have been in possession of an English translation device. This chapter explores the mysterious details surrounding this intriguing event. The beginnings of the event. Survivor recovery reports. During 1952, information began to circulate about a recovery operation involving a surviving individual. The details of this event remain shrouded in mystery, but sources suggest that this person was recovered under exceptional circumstances. The strangeness of the situation: no sending of the survivor. What makes this event particularly intriguing is the fact that the recovered survivor would not have been sent, contrary to what was expected in such situations. The reasons behind this unusual decision raise questions about the intentions and protocols associated with this recovery operation. The discovery of a translation device. A surprising element. The element that adds an extra dimension of mystery to this event is the alleged discovery of an English translation device in the survivor's possession. This find raises fundamental questions about the origins of the recovered individual and the nature of the communication that may have taken place. Theories and speculations. Extraterrestrial encounter or advanced technology. Faced with this enigmatic scenario, various theories and speculations have emerged. Some put forward the hypothesis of an encounter with an extraterrestrial entity capable of communicating in English, while others consider the possibility of advanced technology, perhaps from an unknown civilization. The implications: a turning point in relationships. Humano-extraterrestrials? If the details of this event are confirmed, it could represent a significant turning point in our understanding of the relationship between mankind and possible extraterrestrial civilizations. The presence of a survivor with a translation device suggests an attempt at communication, raising questions about the intentions and motivations behind this approach. The secrets surrounding the event, reasons for confidentiality. The recovery operation and the unusual circumstances surrounding it were probably surrounded by a high degree of confidentiality. The reasons for this discretion could be manifold, ranging from the protection of national interests to the need to maintain secrecy about potentially revolutionary technologies. Conclusion: a mysterious page in history. This chapter concludes by emphasizing that the 1952 event remains a mysterious page in history, arousing curiosity and imagination. The limited details and speculation surrounding it are a reminder that exploring the mysteries of our world and beyond is a constant quest, often fraught with questions without definitive answers. The recovery of an individual with a translation device underlines the complexity of potential encounters with the unknown, inviting researchers and the curious to continue exploring the frontiers of knowledge. 1953, Eisenhower's Atoms for Peace project. The proposal for an international nuclear control. 1953 saw a major initiative by U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, marking a new approach to the use of nuclear technologies for peaceful purposes. This chapter explores Eisenhower's speech to the United Nations, launching the Atoms for Peace project and the bold proposal to create an international agency to control the use of nuclear materials. The Cold War context, nuclear tensions and concerns. In 1953, the world was immersed in the Cold War, characterized by growing tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. Rapid advances in the nuclear field raised concerns about the possibility of an atomic war with devastating consequences. Eisenhower's speech to the United Nations. The foundations of Atoms for Peace. On December 8, 1953, President Eisenhower delivered a historic speech to the United Nations General Assembly in New York. In it, he set out the vision of the Atoms for Peace project. The aim was to promote the peaceful use of nuclear energy while minimizing the risks associated with the proliferation of nuclear weapons. The Atoms for Peace principles, Pacific use, and international cooperation. Eisenhower emphasized that the United States was ready to share its nuclear knowledge for peaceful purposes with other nations. He encouraged international cooperation in the development of nuclear energy for civil, medical, and industrial purposes, in the hope that this would contribute to an era of peace and progress. The proposal for an international nuclear regulatory agency, a step towards global security. At the heart of the Atoms for Peace project, Eisenhower proposed the creation of an international agency dedicated to the control of nuclear activities. This agency's mission would be to monitor the use of nuclear materials worldwide, ensuring peaceful use and preventing the proliferation of atomic weapons. International reactions, encouragement and skepticism. Reactions to Eisenhower's proposal were varied. Some countries welcomed the idea of international cooperation and nuclear control measures, while others were skeptical about the sincerity of American intentions in a context of East-West rivalry. Implementation of Atoms for Peace. Creation of the IAEA. In 1957, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, was created, in part realizing Eisenhower's vision. The IAEA's mission is to promote the peaceful use of nuclear energy, prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons, and provide technical assistance to nations seeking to develop civil nuclear programs. Atoms for Peace legacy, successes, and challenges. The Atoms for Peace project represents an important milestone in the history of global nuclear policy. Its legacy is complex, with successes in promoting nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, but also challenges related to proliferation and security risks. This chapter concludes by emphasizing the continuing importance of international cooperation in the responsible management of nuclear energy and associated materials. Eisenhower's vision paved the way for a shared understanding of global nuclear issues, while underlining the importance of peace and international cooperation in a nuclear power context. 1954, EDSAC 1949. The Roswell Reverse Technology Controversy. The year 1954 witnessed significant developments in computing with the commissioning of the pioneering EDSAC 1949 computer. However, this period was also marked by persistent speculation about alleged reverse technology stemming from the notorious 1947 Roswell incident. This chapter explores these two key events and the controversial links between them. Commissioning of EDSAC 1949, a major advance in information technology. In 1954, the Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator, EDSAC 1949, became operational, representing a major breakthrough in computing. This computer, developed at Cambridge University, ushered in an era in which electronic calculators would play an essential role in scientific research and information processing. The EDSAC 1949 was equipped with vacuum tubes and ferrite toroid memory, enabling faster calculations and greater flexibility than previous technologies. It made a significant contribution to the evolution of computers, laying the foundations for many future innovations in computing. The Roswell Reverse Technology Controversy, myth or reality? Parallel to the progress of EDSAC 1949, the controversy surrounding the 1947 Roswell incident persisted. Allegations of reverse technology emanating from allegedly recovered extraterrestrial debris fueled speculation about hidden technological advances. Some suggest that engineers may have learned technological lessons from extraterrestrial debris, incorporating this knowledge into the development of the 1949 EDSAC and other technological advances of the time. However, it is essential to note that these allegations are highly contested and often considered to be in the realm of conspiracy speculation. Reverse technology theories. Roswell's links to computers? Bold theories assert that engineers could have learned technological lessons from extraterrestrial debris, incorporating this knowledge into the development of the EDSAC 1949 and other technological advances of the time. However, it is essential to note that these claims are highly contested and often considered to be in the realm of conspiracy speculation. Scientific debate. Arguments for and against. The debate surrounding Roswell's reverse technology involving EDSAC 1949 involves a clash between conspiratorial beliefs and scientific arguments. Some stress the absence of hard evidence and the need to rely on verifiable facts, while others maintain that elements of the Roswell story have been intentionally hidden. Conclusion: between scientific reality and persistent myth. This chapter concludes by acknowledging the significant achievements of EDSAC 1949 in the field of computer science. However, it also emphasizes the need to separate scientific reality from the persistent myths surrounding Roswell's reverse technology. The history of computing must be appreciated for its real contributions, while the Roswell stories require critical, evidence-based examination to distinguish fiction from reality. This period in history is a reminder of the importance of approaching historical accounts with a critical mind and of remaining vigilant against theories that lack solid foundations. 1954, IBM 701. The emergence of assembly language in complement to EDSAC. 1954 marked a turning point in the history of computing with the introduction of the IBM 701, an iconic computer that helped shape the future of computer technology. Simultaneously, the development of assembly language brought a crucial advance in computer programming, completing the progress initiated by the EDSAC 1949. This chapter explores these two major developments and their impact on the evolution of computing. The IBM 701, a revolution in computing. In 1954, IBM introduced the IBM 701, the first commercial scientific computer. With its considerable computing power, the IBM 701 opened up new perspectives for processing complex data, offering advanced computing capabilities used in fields such as scientific research, engineering, and numerical simulations. The IBM 701 marked a significant breakthrough by using vacuum tubes for data processing, magnetic drum memory, and a processing unit capable of performing complex arithmetic operations. These features accelerated scientific calculations and paved the way for more powerful computing. Assembly language, a giant step forward in programming. Simultaneously with the advent of the IBM 701, assembly language emerged as a major innovation in computer programming. Designed to facilitate computer programming using mnemonics understandable to humans, assembly language enabled programmers to write instructions more efficiently and more legibly. Assembly language introduced the use of mnemonics to represent the opcodes of machine instructions. This simplified the programming process by making instructions more comprehensible to programmers, facilitating the creation of more sophisticated programs. The ideal complement to EDSAC 1949 towards more intuitive programming. The introduction of assembly language completed the advances initiated by EDSAC 1949, which had already laid a solid foundation for computer programming. Assembly language enabled more intuitive programming, bringing programmers closer to computer operations and facilitating the development of more complex software. Impact on the evolution of computing towards more accessible programming. The IBM 701 and the emergence of assembly language had a major impact on the evolution of computing. These advances made computers more accessible, paving the way for a new era of more intuitive programming and contributing to the rapid expansion of computer applications in a variety of fields. Conclusion: a key chapter in the history of computing. This chapter concludes by highlighting the crucial importance of 1954 in the history of computing. The IBM 701 and assembly language played a central role in the development of technologies that continue to shape our digital world. These advances paved the way for more powerful, flexible, and accessible computing, laying the foundations for future IT innovations. The legacy of the IBM 701 and assembly language lies in their essential contribution to the computer revolution, making programming more accessible and efficient for generations to come.